Big news coming out of India's space sector. It looks like we're on the verge of a major milestone, the very first flight of a privately built PSLV rocket. And guess what? It could happen as early as next year. This isn't just a one-off launch either. The plan is to have at least 2 or 3 launches in 2025. So, who's behind this massive undertaking? A consortium of industry giants, including Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, or HAL and Larsen&Toubro, often called L&T. They've been hard at work manufacturing India's most trusted rocket, the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, or PSLV. According to A.T. Ramchandani, a senior VP at L&T, the hardware for the rocket is already being delivered. He mentioned that they're optimistic about 2 or 3 launches next year. Of course, this depends on a couple of things: the satellites or payloads being ready for launch and finding available slots in ISRO's busy launch schedule. The very first mission for this privately built rocket, designated PSLV-N1, will be to carry an Earth observation satellite called EOS-10 into orbit. Originally, there was hope for this launch to happen even sooner, maybe even this year. Sources say that the rocket itself was pretty much ready to go, but the satellite it was supposed to carry faced some delays. It's a classic chicken and egg situation in the space industry. You need both the rocket and the satellite to be ready at the same time. Mr. Ramchandani admitted that they faced some challenges with a few components along the way. But here's the great part. ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, stepped in to help them out. This kind of collaboration is exactly what you want to see when you're reopening up a critical sector like space to private players. It shows a real partnership aimed at ensuring success. Now, L&T says they are all geared up and ready for launch. Let's rewind a bit to understand why this is such a big deal. Back in 2022, ISRO made a strategic decision to commercialize its workhorse, the PSLV. This was a landmark move, making the PSLV the first of ISRO's vehicles to be handed over to the private sector for manufacturing, after the space industry was opened up. The initial contract awarded to the HAL and L&T consortium is for building 5 PSLV rockets for ISRO. But it sounds like this is just the beginning. Mr. Ramchandani believes that ISRO sees a growing demand for launches and that they might end up building another 10 rockets after this initial batch is complete. That's a potential total of 15 privately built PSLVs. Right now, ISRO is handling the payloads for these missions, but the long-term vision is even more exciting. The plan is for the consortium to eventually create its own client base. Imagine that they'll be able to market the launches, find their own customers, and schedule missions independently. This would truly mark a new era for commercial spaceflight in India. This model is a bit different from how the Small Satellite Launch Vehicle, or SLV, was commercialized. For the SSLV, ISRO was very clear from day one that the private companies involved would have to produce the rocket and sell the launches themselves, right from the start. It was up to them to gauge the market demand and cater to it. Interestingly, the technology for the SSLV was also transferred to HAL, which is part of this PSLV consortium, so there's a lot of synergy happening. And the market is definitely waking up to this new possibility. Companies that build satellites, especially those working on communication and Earth observation, are already reaching out to the consortium. These satellites are often heavier than what smaller rockets like the SSLV or Skyroot's Vikram can carry, making the PSLV the perfect ride for them. Of course, building trust is key. As Mr. Ramchandani put it, after a couple of launches, the confidence will come. Right now, the consortium isn't actively seeking out customers, but he says that's the logical next step after they have a few successful missions under their belt. So, what we're witnessing is the birth of a new commercial space ecosystem in India, built on the strong foundation of ISRO's legacy. A reliable, proven rocket like the PSLV, now powered by private industry, is set to unlock incredible opportunities. It's an exciting time for Indian space exploration and commerce, and we'll be watching very closely as that first privately built PSLV prepares to soar into the sky. Thanks for watching. What do you think about this move to privatize the PSLV? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love staying updated on all things space, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. See you next time.